Midway, and they decided to use the Midway logo, but to me it's still Williams. It was the same name change. Anyway, we all went to see the movie when it came out in Chicago as a group, and I gotta say I was kind of blown away. Of course, I'm not as sensitive to the creation of it as the creators would be, Ed Boon and John Tobias. But man, I thought it was very cool to see all these characters up on a big screen in an actual movie. I thought it was amazing.
Yeah, I would prefer it to be a little darker because I wanted fatalities in it.
Yeah, I knew that it wasn't going to be true to the game. That I knew going in.
Yes, next question.
Did the game take any inspiration from the movie Big Trouble in Little China?
That's a great question. That's really a question for John Tobias and Ed Boon. There may have been. I have a hard time believing there wasn't some.
It sounds like from what you were saying at Williams, there was a lot of freedom to do what you wanted. Is that the case, or were you doing it like under the radar, or how did it work back then?
I think it's a lot of freedom because everything's development. So when you're developing something, you have to have a little bit of freedom. Otherwise, you won't go into new territory.
Yeah, and honestly, there not as much freedom as like I had at Gottlieb when I was making Qbert, where basically they were just like, go make a game, we don't care. At Williams, I think management wanted to kind of know what you were doing before they would let you even start down the path. But then I think once they sort of had a sense of what you wanted to do, then they kind of left you alone to do it. And I think with Mortal Kombat, there probably was some conversation about, well, what exactly are you doing here? But yeah, I was not part of those conversations. And like with Terminator 2, I think there was a little bit more, interest because we were dealing with a producing partner who was the movies, and we had to kind of get it right, and so that affects things too.
Yeah, I think because Mortal Kombat was going to be a smaller game. One time when we were first testing it, and the blood was out of control because it was the first character, like we were doing Johnny Cage. So it was really, really over the top, and it was kind of like, I looked at it and I was like, John, it looked kind of real. And I was like, can we do?
And Goro was a puppet. It was a stop motion, kind of like the original King Kong or something. He
was like 8 inches. He wouldn't stand up by himself. We had to put it
because of management or perhaps a limitation of the carrying that you wish could have been in the product but didn't make it into it.
Yeah, there was like again,
like your favorite.
John planned on there being 3 fatalities for each. He wanted we should be cool if we could do 3 fatalities each character, and 2, after my brother was like X-ray, we wanted to have everybody have an X-ray move, and that didn't happen. So but it's all growth. It's not like now where the game has 1 or 2 years to come out. They want their game out in like 8 months, right? 8 or 9 months. They want you got to get the quarters fast. Yeah, it has to come out quickly. So you got to get whatever you can in the allotted time, and whatever you can't, you just can't.
Yeah. Okay. Just final question. So last question.
Yeah, real quick question for Warren. What does WTARG stand for?
Well, that is a lovely question. Honestly, the W was for Williams, not Warren. I was not that much of an egocentric person. And TARG stands for the Target Board. That was the hardware that we used to do the digitizing. Williams Target Board.
That's pretty cool. That's a good trivia question.
And Warren, finally from me. So was WTARG the first arcade motion capture system developed? Would that be fair to say?
I do not know. I mean, Journey was the first game that used digitized images, but it was just the band's heads in